let me tell you about the supplies that are in it. We've got the really chunky base. Then our color palette is just so much fun and popping. Bright pinks and pink green like a chartreuse. And then here we've got a black stripes. It's always a winning combination, one of my favorite ribbons to use, especially in the summer. This is our inspirational floral that we're using. And we're calling it the inspiration because that's where we get our whole palette from here. Notice it's got the darker yellow, which works really good for summer with that touch of orange. We've got some pink in there. And then we've got cream. That works great. And this stem also has some good greenery on it. Then we are going to keep it pretty simple on the floral because it's all about the bow on this one. We've got fishtail fern in the light green and then some beautiful green berries. The next thing we need to do is put a hanger on this. I know on this wreath, like any wreath, if there's a janky part you don't like this is a little slimmer right here, I can take and make sure that this is all going to be covered by the bow or the foam or whatever you're putting on there. So I know that's good to go. So grab your awl, and we'll flip this around. We're going to put the hanger on it. This has a little brown section here. They have a wire frame inside. You don't have to put hangers on stuff. I always think it's really professional and finished that way. So I'm going to push it in, and I'm just going to try to turn it and grab it. I'm getting it this time. There it goes. Okay. Now, I'm just going to pull it through a little. And we'll have this side through. And I like to grab the other wire on the other side. I put the other side through. So I don't know how far over it is. I want to find it. Oh, I found it already, I think. It's right here. Okay. So we'll just take this in and do the exact same thing. Make a little hook. Like this, a little U. And go back in here. All right. And then just twist it so it comes over the wire. Make sure you caught the wire. I did. All right, so I'm under the wire on both sides, and I just want to make my own little hanger by pulling these out. The hanger can come up above on this wreath because we're going to have florals, so we will be fine. Okay, and remember, I'm not just grabbing vine. I have gone around that wire inside. That's literally the most important part. Trim that off. And it had to shift over a little bit. But our hanger is on there, and she's ready to hang now. Ba-doom, ba-doom. Probably about 3 inches wide. And I know it's going to go right up the middle. So I wanted to try to get it closer to the top. So I'm good with that. It's hanging on the hanger. Now what we've got to do is get it in here and get it secure. So grab some floral pins and a whole bunch of glue in your glue pot. We don't need glue way up here. It's only going to be glued on right here, okay? Maybe right here. So that's from about here down. So I can take and just take my dowel to it. Get a lot of glue on there. You want a liberal amount. Okay? And that's how we'll secure it to the front. You're just going to wiggle it in, like get it right up that middle. Okay? And now you're going to go in with your floral pins. I'm going to dip them in glue. I'm going to come from all angles, and my goal is to grab some of the wreath and then into the foam. Pushing it in. So it's every piece is going into the wreath, but I'm grabbing some of that foam to help secure it. Now, the nice thing about getting the little piece of the foam on here is that it allows you to get it off the wreath a little bit, but still be able to have things kind of with some dimension coming off. So my little piece is on there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cover the back of the foam right now because I know that you will see that from the back, okay? So I'm going to grab some Spanish moss, and we're just going to take a little of that and just make a little flat piece here to just go on the back. And then it's nice and camouflaged. No glue yet. I'm just making a little flat pancake. Okay? Here and here. And I'm just going to put a couple pins in there from behind. You cannot see it. But then that is all nice and clean from the back, or I don't have to come back and do that. Now, I'm not going to put any moss anywhere else yet. I'm going to make my design and then come back, fill in any holes that I need to with it. Okay? But now it looks a lot better from the back, all camoed. Alrighty, the bow is going first in this time, and then this design is going to come together really quickly. So we already made our bow, but instead of attaching it just by the cable tie in the back, we're going to take a wire. This is an 18 gauge wire, and I'm going to come right through the center of the bow, okay, just where we have our green cable tie already. And now I'm going to just do one twist back here. So it's holding it, and I just made my own little U-pin to go into the foam right here. I twisted it and made my own little U-pin. I'm going to cut it equal. To make sure that holds on, I'm going to now bring the cable tie through the middle. So instead of attaching this to it, I just brought that wire to the center because this is a big heavy bow, and if I just attach it by the cable tie, it might flop down. So I'm going to try to control that a little bit by putting the wire through the middle of the bow. I'm trimming that off. I'm going to make these equal. And then I feel like my U-pin is kind of wide. I spread it out a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, now when I go into the foam, I don't want to go all the way to the top. I don't want to go to the bottom. I'm going right in the center. And I do have to have glue on that pin we just made. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. Lots of glue, lots of glue. I'll even put some glue on the back. So we've got glue everywhere. Okay, right to the middle. Just going straight up and down. Yep, went in great. We have 3 of these stems. And because I do want some length on them when we make our cuts, I'm going to cut here and then cut here. And this one will have the shortest cut, and I will cut it right here. Okay, I need some length, but we have kind of solved any issues by really paying attention to how we did that foam when we did the foam. This also has a good stem to use for a hanger, so hold on to that good stem. I always like to point that out when they do have a good one. Now, what I want to do first is start with my first piece right up the middle. And for that, I want to pop some of the white and pink. So I'm going to use the top part of the stem that has the nice white and pink. And that's going to go right here. It's going to go in the background, so it's kind of going at the back of the foam. All right, we're going to pop that one in right here and pop her right in the center. Beautiful. Okay. We have a little bit of yellow, so I'm going to bring in some yellow off to one side, kind of sticking in the midline a little bit. So this one has that beautiful summery yellow. Shake hands with these picks, get everybody in their own little space. Now I'm going to bring this one a little more forward and tighter to the bow, so coming in right here a little shorter, but definitely going out to the right. Okay, and then we need one going to the left. And this is the shorter one with the white and pink. Let me just trim it down a little bit. It's a little bit long. All right, and you're going to move back on the foam just a little bit, so you're not quite in as tight as this one, but you're right over here, a little bit higher. These have a great greenery, so we want to make sure we're working that and shaping it up. They have a lot going on in each stem, so you've got to be careful that you are not just shoving them in, or you will have a big mess. It won't look clean and neat. And I want you to leave a little hole in the center because we're going to put berries there. All right, we're going to work below the bow now. So I'm going to bring it back up. Start with your longest stem with the white. Whoever you got cut the longest, this one is the longest. And we're going to have her kind of come right down the middle. So spread apart your bow, find that mid zone of the bow, and run this just right in front of that piece of fishtail you already put in. It needs to be shorter than it, okay? So it's going in right here. See the fishtail behind it? That's what we're going for. Now this one will be shorter, so the bloom needs to come back a little, and I'm going to work between these layers of the ribbon. Yep, perfect. Excellent. This works over here. So when you just take a little time with all this placement, you will be happy. Because it won't look crowded, and it's looking really nice and placed as you come across that bow. All right, let's get this guy in. Oh my goodness, how beautiful is that? love it. I love that yellow tight to the bow. Okay, so we work top, we work bottom, we've got stuff popping out of this bow. We're accomplishing exactly what we want. We've got the layers in here working, which is just so fun. Now, what I want to do is I've got to get a little bit of floral on either side of the bow. So I'm going to bring her back down, and we're going to work here in these zones, okay? So in here, we're going to kind of work straight in the middle. And I've got a couple of pieces left. I've got 3 pieces left. The thing is, if I add a yellow, you know the yellow would look great over here because it would make a triangle. So we're going to do that first. Over here on the right. And it doesn't have to be like front and center. I'm going to tuck it between these layers of the bow. You got to get in there and get beyond because I got to make sure it's going to pop out of the bow enough. So those now popped in 3 around the bow. Perfect. Got our little curl of ribbon. We got our tails going. I'm going to bring this other curl out. I mean, it's looking good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use these with no big bloom. I'm going to take the big bloom off of them and just use them with just the stems themselves. And we're going to use those as filler in here, just right on either side where we put this piece of greenery. So right here, this is going to come out from the side, okay? This is more in the background. It's kind of coming out like this in between these 2 greeneries. Just because this has such a great greenery, but we don't need any more flowers out here. We did our flower thing. This is really all about lines. And once you start perfecting this, you're going to love it because it's really all about the bow and just making sure you get this nice and lush. Look at that. Oh my gosh, so pretty, y'all. I love it. So our last thing we're going to use this time, instead of twigs or anything like that, we're going to pop a really big pop of berries in. And on these berries, they come on these very long stems, but we want to just utilize this as one big nice chunk kind of. Where I'm going to separate it a little, but the berries are meant to be clustered. So I'm going to take it first and just cut this piece off here, and this one will remain on the long stem so we can use it somewhere else. So you've got this going on right here, okay? Now this long chunk I want to be able to put in really tight to this bow and go in that little area we left open. So something like this. And I want these tighter to the base. Not out here like we normally would, tight to the base. So I just push that in, and what I'm going to do is come from behind now, and I'm going to find that stem and pin it right into this foam. And here it is. It's kind of over to the side. That works out great. And I made sure you cannot pull it out. So here's what happened. Once it's in, here's the foam where my hand is. I grabbed it like this, so it cannot pull out, okay? If they pull it by the berry, it's between a crack in there. All right, and I'll probably put 2 in them just in case. 2 pins in just for safety. Because you know I'm always paranoid. So that is tight to the base. So not out here where everybody's wispy, in tight. All right, now let's put another cluster below. And I'm going to break this down the same way. We're going to leave this little guy long, or on a longer stem. And these are going to be tight. And I want these to go tight to the base and tight to the bow also. So in here, I'm kind of going off to the side. They're like a little treasure, and it may be hard to see. They're like a little treasure in here. Tighter to the bow, though, than I got this one right now. Okay, I'm going to maybe be able to push this one in. But there's a lot in that area, so let's see. I think I can do it. I'm going to trim it a little shorter. It depends how much you got going in there, guys. And you can always glue it in and pin it, like if it wants to not lay flat, because here I don't want this, you know, popping out. I want it to be kind of flat. I can do a combo of both. So that's pushed in, but then this is going to be pinned in a little further down. You can be tricky. You sure can. You're the boss of this stuff. I'm going to pull my little tails in here. Curl that one up too. Just love all this fun curling. So the berries aren't in tight, the bow is out further, you got your yellow line, your white line. I love that. Now we got a couple of these berries that are kind of loose. I think it would be fun just to put them into the top, just using triangle placement a bit. So this one will have to go high, and then we'll put the other one low. The finishing details are totally up to you. If you have like a little hole on the side, you want to pop anything in to cover, you can do that. I'm just going to bring this up here and just kind of elongate that berry cluster from the middle. Perfect. And then for triangle placement, I'll need to put this one right over here. So we kind of got to pop a green berry at the top. Let me move my flower over and we'll go behind. We're celebrating that green in this arrangement because this is supposed to be just killer for the summer, right? Okay, the final detail. You can see here our whole piece. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. The final detail is going to be just that little bit of wispy grass. And you're going to want to use that more to the foreground to break up your flowers that you already have put in. So take a second, poof out the bow. Make sure nothing got, squished in there. You're happy. I think we did really well with the grass and the bow. I think we just need a little more grass up here in between the flowers. So I'm going to take my longer pieces and use it a little bit more towards the foreground. So what I mean by that is we're going to go between the two white flowers behind the berries. So there's some depth we're creating, right? You're going to go in here. Okay. Let's have one in here. Pull that one up, one down. So easy to build in that foam. Celebrate your yellow flowers. Make sure they're showing out. All right. We could have a piece right in the middle. I'm just going to push it up a little bit. I have to keep the stem kind of long. Still about 4 inches, but I want to be able to get past and poof it out around this bow. Yep, just right there. Get your little poppy show. Oh, I love this. I'm going to do one more kind of working opposite it. That one you just put in down below, so we'll poof it up. Keep that stem long. We're going to go right here. So I still have about a 4 to 5 inch stem because there's a big bow you're reaching out from behind. And that looks real, real good. So the key to making this design work is, listen to me, you cannot just shove everything in. You've got to think about your placement. Otherwise, it's going to be struggling without twigs to break it up. You got to take your time and really let each floral have its own zone and work between that bow like we did. Look how beautiful. Stunning, guys. It's stunning. This is a 14-inch smaller wreath base. I told you we're going to come way off the base. I'm really excited about that. That'll be our base. Now we're coming into that, and we're going to start off with this one bush. And the nice thing, this is set up with 9 heads, so it's just perfect to make a wreath out, this type of piece. You could even make a piece and a piece and a half with it if you wanted to go smaller, but we're going to go big off a small base. All right. So I picked that as my main flower. Now, my greeneries, I'm going to use this as a greenery and a filler. This is a lavender bush. It's got a lavender bloom and a nice little green leaf. It's a little frosted. So for a secondary greenery to go with that, I'm popping in a fishtail to go with that. And I've got 2 of these, and 1 of these. It's going to make a large wreath. You could cut that back to 1 and 1 and just use 2 of these heads if you wanted to make a smaller wreath. Still the same wreath base. And let me show you the ribbons. Classic color design here is going to be the yellow with the black and the yellow with the black sunflowers. All right, we're going to mix both of these. I'm going to start with 1 bush of the fishtail in the background to kind of set the perimeter, and then I'll put the lavender next. I'm not going to cut this down at all. We're just going to leave it long. And you guys do stock up on our Spanish moss that's back in stock because it's the perfect color to go from spring to fall. It's the light green, so it transitions very nicely. So I just trimmed that all long, and we're going to start to put this in. So I'll start with my first piece up here. And this is going to be our C shape, which is the most popular shape I make. So we're going to start with it going. And let's work down from there. We're going to go with triangle placement, so that one's high, and these will be a little bit lower. And I'm bringing a little roll of Spanish moss in here to kind of hold this in place and cover my glue. Okay, I have two purposes there. Here's a longer piece. I'm going to have that kind of shoot up the back, and it's going to be shorter than those. So I'm going to trim it just a little bit. We're going to come right down into here. Okay, and now I'm going to come below the transition, and we're going to do the same thing below. I'll start with my long one, and we're going to really let that come down. Make sure that's in the video, guys. Well, it had a couple of comments, and then it has none now. It's so funny. I don't know what it's doing. All right, and then I'm going to come out here. So I just kind of repeated exactly what we had up here, down here. Now I'm going to take our other greenery, which is also a filler flower. So this kind of bush is great because it does double duty. So I'm going to take this. We're going to push these up just a little, okay? Just kind of to where they are all about the same height. And then I want you to cut them long still because we're working the perimeter. So cut them long. I stocked my glue in my glue pot, so my glue pot's so happy. You know, when the glue is so nice and fresh. It's a happy moment. So I'm going to put that in there, and let's go between these two. I'm just putting one right now. We're going to be doubling up on it, but I'm getting it started. And I still kind of want the greenery to be longer than the lavender. We're going to get that put in. We're working on the background right now. Now let's come down to the bottom, and we're going to go between each one here too. All right, in between these two. And remember, we're always going into the wreath, but not through to the back. So we're trying to the wires to sit inside when we push them in. Excellent. Let's put a couple in the middle. And we're going to layer that piece in right here. So we're working to the perimeter right now. Let's come right in here. Get a little moss on it. And I'm trying to get that moss just in that small area because I've still got a lot of pieces to put in here. I don't want to cover it up. Now let's work some on the outside. And this one will go to the outside. So this is kind of the outside area. And we don't want to flare it way out. We want to kind of get these shorter in here. That's about the length I did up there. So I'll rotate this one down and come below. Remember, where we decided to put our bow, which is going to be a little bit lower when we get done. I moved it up from the 6 o'clock. I moved it up a little higher. It's at about, what is that? 9 o'clock. Oh, was that? Oh, I went the wrong way earlier when I said 5 o'clock. 7 o'clock. So I moved it up to 9. Sorry, I went the wrong way in my brain. That happens a lot to me. I hope that doesn't happen to you too much. Oh my gosh. What are we going to do? Okay, and then I think I'd like one more piece just kind of closing in our C shape out there on the edge. We're working with wildflowers and how that all feels and looks. Always one of my best selling wreath designs of the whole year. And you can make these for different seasons with different supplies for sure. But it was all inspired by the Texas wildflowers that we have here and the big wildflower season that's going on right now. In March, April is the big time for all the rains and the flowers on the side of the road. Before we go any further, now it's time to get our sunflowers in because they're the biggest part of this whole design. And I'm going to try to use them keeping a stem together at a time, and we'll see if that will work. Okay, so I'm going to trim off down right above that bottom leaf. They have a thicker stem, so just kind of eat at it a little bit. Nip away. I'm going to go below the bottom leaf on this one, see if it cuts easier. It cuts a little bit easier right there. So I cut all 3 of those off. The only thing you're going to need to do is really shake hands with it. And like if a head is wiggling off, glue it back on or push it on and make sure it's not going to come off for your customer. Okay? Now I'm going to get rid of the sunflower leaves because they're big and they're not what I want, so I'm trimming them off. They're very pretty, so save them for something else. But I want that stem to be completely clean. And this piece right here is going to look great just kind of shooting up from the transition of where the bow is going. Okay. So we'll put this first piece in right here. Not too high. We're going to have another one higher. Just right behind where the bow is going to be. Perfect. You can see the triangle placement working really good now, can't you? 1, 2, 3. And the nice thing, I was able to keep the length on that piece by keeping it all together. I'm going to curve up my moss. We're going to put it right in there. And then my second piece is going to kind of work more of the angle over. It'll also help us add some weight to that side. This wreath doesn't have a hanger on it yet. Once we get a hanger on it, it will help. So I'm going to trim off the leaves. I'll try to trim them as neat as I can so you don't notice that they're missing. So there's our bow going to be there. It's kind of sitting up. This will move a little bit more this way. So the second piece is going to work above the bow. So I've got to make sure that it's reaching out to the right to fix that C shape, right? So we're going to do that right now. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm going to put that right into the top. Give that a swirl. And let's go right in here. Beautiful right there. Make sure you push it in enough where it's going to stay where you want it. And let it set up a little, then we can manipulate the leaves, the blooms a little bit more. And now I'm going to push this in. So pretty. So I'm going to trim this off. Get all those leaves off again. And then this is going to shoot right in to where the bow is coming out from. I just gave it a little bend up. Watch your glue, careful. We don't want to come out the back, so I'm going into the wreath. When I'm putting a big stem in, I'm holding the wreath with one hand and pushing it in to provide some resistance, okay? Get these heads poking up a little bit. We've got beautiful, nice heads. We want them to look up. Okay, hold the bow off for just a few minutes. We're going to continue to fill this up now really full, and then we'll put the bow in. Looking really pretty. These have such good movement. Now I'm going to take these and just push them up a little, but we're still going to cut them long. And I want you to hold off 4 pieces for the bow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put those aside. These pieces right here, we're going to work out to the perimeter. And wherever you had another piece of greenery at the top, I want you to put this one in just a little bit shorter. Right there. Beautiful. And this one here will go into the right a little bit shorter. Just kind of beefing up where we had them before. This one can work right in here to the left. And now I'm coming in a little bit in between the sunflowers to where they're like the greenery is coming in between him. We're going to fill in a little bit. And I'm going to use this one up there. I'm not going to do too much down here at the bottom yet because that's where the bow is going to go in. I'm going to come in here and come forward. Look at that. So far, so good. All right, now grab the lavender and we're going to put a little lavender in and then we'll pop the bow in. So just like we put this greenery coming forward, we're going to use this lavender coming through between the blooms. So we're not going to push it up a lot. And I'm still going to cut it long because I need some length on here when I sell my finished pieces. So I'm going to come in here and we're going to work these coming in between the flowers. So one here, and we're going to use like a zigzag technique. So one there, I'm going to put one a little bit lower. And I want to make sure these come up between these flowers. They don't need to dominate and cover up the flowers. Like I'm not trying to really overlap it a lot, but just come between. Now one above. And now let's go inside here. So now we really feel like we're in that garden of wildflowers. Just beautiful. This is going to look killer on your door, your garden gate. It's going to look beautiful. Okay, let's have some come in between these guys now over here. We've got two blooms here, so let's put one in there. I'll come up here. Beautiful. Okay, now let's work on the bottom. Same concept. I'm kind of avoiding this area right now. I'm working between the blooms. Almost shoved it right in my sunflower. Let's put the next one. I'm going to layer the next one on top. You do want to save 4 to go in between the layers of the bow. So make sure you're saving a little bit to work between the areas of the bow. Okay, I'm going to step back and look. I think it looks good right now. We'll fill in a little bit more when we get the bow in, but let's do that now. Here's a close-up of it, guys. Get a good close-up. Look, it looks so pretty. Look at that. Yeah. That movement is key in the wildflower wispy design. Really having so much fun with that. I'm excited. I mean, we use that technique a lot as well, but we're going to really hone in on that really wispy feeling. So I've got my bow in. And now I'm going to fix the tails and bring these down. Bring them down, bring them down, bring them down. Okay, and spread them out. Just like that. And now they're working in our wreath. I'm going to pop those out. So I'm going to step back first, and I want to help bring this line down a little bit more down here where we have this greenery. And let's put a little lavender beside it. So take a step back from your piece and see if you have holes where you need a little bit of, squint your eyes, stand back, and see if there's like a hole on the perimeter. And there was one right here. Okay. Now I'm going to go shorter, coming out of the center. We're still working with the lavender. We're going to bring the greenery in at the end to break it up a little bit. Let's go right in here. Just gonna try to push these into the grapevine without going through the back, guys. Try. Let's go on the outside. Beautiful. And let me put some moss in there. That will hide any of the mechanics. Now let me step back. Oh my gosh, that looks so pretty. That looks so pretty. I'm going to pull the bow a little bit to the center here because I kind of like it coming to the middle. All right, let's tuck some in right around the bow now. So as I'm putting these other pieces in, I'm following those same rules. Because it creates the flow and the direction of the piece. You got to stick with that, okay? We can't fight those things or our wreath doesn't look professional and clean. Okay? Okay. That's looking pretty good. Let me look. I'm going to put one more lavender behind this tail here. I got just a little bit of an opening there. And I'm going to go straight into the grapevine. All right. Yeah, and see how I'm having that come down a little bit? That kind of fills in the outside shape we've got working. Bring this in. I'm going to curl this dude up. Let him kind of curl out of there because he's so cute. one go behind. All right. Let's go in the center. Now I'm going to put my greenery in here. We definitely are having fun. I am. I'm going to go right in the middle here. Okay, and I'm going to bring that up. Lots of movement. Okay, let's put one more piece of lavender right in the center. So when something goes in the center of where the directions change, you can just put it kind of straight out. That's fine. Cut it short though, so it kind of tucks behind and it's not looking rogue back there. So I'm going to put it in just right at the transition, or you can put it in like, I'm going to put it in going up, but then I'll bend it a little to go right here. So it went that way and then I bent it. I love using this lavender like a greenery. It is gorgeous. And one other piece right behind this sunflower here coming out to the side. So keep it short, like a little filler. And spend a little time on the bow zone because it's really effective when you break the plane of the ribbon and you bring some of those florals through the layers. That's what we're doing here at the last step, okay? So I make it into a cluster. I still leave the stem a little long, like about 3 inches so I can get behind the bow. But we can let that greenery come out of the layers like I'm going to do right here between these two layers. So I'm pushing it into the grapevine. Okay, and then I'm going to bend it down and we'll pull it through. Look at that. Isn't that great? I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, that looks so pretty. Last piece, y'all. Let's check for holes. Okay, one right here. A little bit of this greenery coming to right in there will be perfect. So I know it doesn't need to be too short, but it needs to be able to tuck into there. So I'm going to cut that down to about 3 inches. And y'all, we all knocked this out. So can you believe this is just 3 different supplies? 2 ribbons. You can get lots more bows. It's a very simple bow. But when we really work on that wildflower technique and make it super wispy, how beautiful it turned out. Didn't that turn out beautiful? This one is booming with rockets. We've got a couple of different glitter rockets that are coming in the kit. And we're going to make the cutest bow that's a really important, integral part of our design with stars and stripes. Stars and stripes. Y'all put stars and stripes in the comments. Or at least give me stars. Because we're going to make a bow out of these too that we're going to be putting in this wreath. And then we've got this beautiful poppy spray that's brand new that we're going to be using in there, and a nice mixed greenery spray. The great thing is it's all in a kit. You can grab all the supplies in one click and you can make this exact one with me and we can have so much fun. So let us know in the comments if you need the link, kit in there, and definitely pop stars in so I know you're paying attention. All right, let's get in there and let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is this is made on a 10-inch wreath base. So that's fine because we want to go way off this design and make it nice and full and lush. So you're going to start off with your poppy sprays and we're going to take and break them down a little bit. You get 2 of them in your kit. And what I want you to do is break this into a couple sections. So grab your wire cutters and we are going to take and just trim this top part off, and these bottom 2 we can just tear them down. And when we do that, we're going to get one longer piece here, and you just take all these little bits and we'll put those in our little garbage pile over here. You're going to want to trim those little wire cuttings off the bottom to make them nice and neat finish. So we're going to do that on all of these bushes. You get 2 in the kit, so one piece will be longer, which is important. We want to leave that guy longer, and then we want to have the other one shorter. So we're going to do that on both of these. So open this up, cut this one really long. Okay, and put that over there with the long guys. And then these 2, we'll separate them out, and we will get ready to put these in a different part of our wreath. Now in design school, we always set the perimeter first of a design, and that helps us know, how big it's going to be. You get to control that today when you get your kit, and you can go, you know, bigger or smaller. I'm going to grab some Spanish moss. That is one thing that does not come in the kit, but I like to use it to hide my glue. So you can see I got my little Spanish moss bowl right here. I'm always having fun changing that up, and I'll have that just right here to grab when I need it. Now, our bow, we made the bow on another video. So if you want to know how to make the bow, you are going to need to know in the comments. Just let us know and we'll be happy to do it. So depending what angle you want this at, I'm probably going to have this go right here. Then I want all the fun stuff to come out of that. And I like a kind of a C shape that goes up and down. So keep that in mind, the space that's going to take up. And then we're going to use these longer pieces to kind of start going out from there. So I'm going to put my first piece in here, giving that a little twirl in the glue pot. And we're going to go up here. Just let that go way up the top. Perfect. Make sure you shake hands with that pick. I want to make sure it's open and looking pretty. And we always call that shaking hands. And I'm going in there with a little bit of moss to hide the glue, okay? Now I'm going to come in with my second piece. And that'll be the one kind of below the bow. And you can see I want to shoot these way off. Let me make the camera a little bit bigger for y'all. There we go. How about right there? I like that. We'll have this one come down here. I'm always going into the grapevine, guys. We don't want to shoot it through the back. Let's bring this piece in. I'm going to ball that up, put that right on top of that glue. And I like these poppies to look up at me. You know, hello. Hello, how you doing? Say hello. Y'all, give me a hello in the comments because I am happy that you're here. I hope you're enjoying this video tonight or whenever you're watching it. Now this, you're going to have two pieces that have twigs, and I adore twigs. I'm going to put these to the side. We're going to grab our twiggy ones, and we're going to work those over here, kind of a little bit more to the outside. And make sure your poppies are saying hello. Y'all, oh my gosh, I think we're going to be popping again today. Did you see my video the other day when I said it was popping, the lemons and the lemon bow? Now, poppies really should be popping. I should have saved that for the poppies. All right, let's go below. Put this one kind of going in the bottom here. And I like that twig working to the outside. Okay, and before that glue dries, we want to go ahead and try to get my, what is your problem? There we go. Sometimes my stem is not cooperating. I want to try to get that moss on before the glue dries. This saves a step. And I use it to hold those in place, okay? Now that looks pretty. And all those are looking up. You see how wispy it feels? That's exactly what we want. Now, I'm going to kind of come in between a little later with these. So I want to have these kind of close to the bow. But we got to put some greenery in the background. So grab your greenery bush. And I'm going to push these up just a little. Not a ton, just a little. Okay? Then you're going to take and just trim these off. Leave the stems a little long. I'm going to trim them all off that bush. Just snippety snip, snip. There they are. Now, I'm going to take them and we're going to start to put these in kind of around the pieces we've already got going. So I'm just going to tuck them in. If you don't see the glue, you don't have to worry about hiding it at all. Don't worry about that. So I give that a swirl in my glue pot and I come on in. I'm just going to go in between each section to get us started. Very nice. That looks good. I cannot wait to get the rockets in here in a few minutes. Y'all, once we put those in, talk about popping. Yeah, it's going to be rockets. Rockets bursting in midair, just like patriotic overload. Oh, love that twig. Okay, we just keep working it in. Y'all, if you haven't done crafts for just stress relief and enjoying the process, you really got to do it. It is so fun to make. Over here, we try to make it a really turnkey process. Once you have, a glue gun or a glue skillet like this, and you have a few basic supplies like wire cutters, Spanish moss, maybe some cable ties. Once you have that stuff, you can just order our kits and we make it super easy for you. And that's kind of the gateway drug. You get in here and you enjoy creating with the kit. Then, as you really say, hey, this is a great hobby and I want to get into it, then you're going to come join us in design school, where every week we're doing high-level designs that are going to blow your friends and family away, because they aren't going to believe you made it. I promise you, they are not going to believe it. Okay, that leaves me 3 pieces of this, a couple of the poppy, and we're going to have those off to the side. But guess what that means now? It's rocket time. Let's get the rockets. Those are going to be so fun. Where did I put the rocket? Oh, here they are. I'm going to start with these curly ones first because they're nice and flat and they go good in the background here. So I'm going to take and layer them kind of up. And what I like to do, it is fun to mix glitter and just non-glitter things. If you've never done that, that is so much fun because it allows the light to catch those pieces. So you're just going to cut this into 2 big sprays. That's one nice thing. And then I'm going to break up this white tinsel-y spray into 2 pieces too. So I broke that down. Watch your stars. And now I broke this one into 2 pieces. Okay, so 1 of each of those. And now I will take and put those right in. I know I want to layer one right in here. We're going to give that a swirl in our glue skillet again. Can you believe this is a kit and you can just click one button and order it? I think that just makes it so easy. I'm so happy we've been able to get to that level with our business to make it easy for you guys. It's not always easy to put kits together with everything you really need to make these pretty pieces, but it's so worth it when we can do it. Oh, that looks so good. I'm going to put one up there and then I'll put one below the bow. And I'm thinking this is going to hang kind of like this. So let's have this rocket kind of come this way, and you can play with these. You can angle them however you want. So I'm going to bend that a little bit more because I love it. And in design school, we call that open area right there the bow zone, right? Not the bozo, the bow zone. You see, I'm working with movement here. I'm having those pop up a little. Even though this is not a super high level design or anything, it's just simple. It's important to really look at the dimension. It really is. Okay, hold the stars off in our little hold pile. And let's get the other rockets. These are more of an all the way around rocket. And we're going to put these in also. So I'm going to take and trim these off our stem. And just watch their little burst of curlies at the bottom because they're so stinking cute. I love that. And go ahead and shape these up where they're somewhat, flat. Shake hands with them. And I want one going here. So I'm going to kind of put the rocket curls up a little. And you can even curl them more in because I don't need them that long. And then they really look like they're blasting off. If you've never played with elements like that in your designs, you really got to do that, because if you take just that little second to curl that up, that really makes it stand out different. I'm going to bring this one in. I'm going to crisscross it a little because I want this to come out of this side of the bow, and we'll put that guy right there. So cute. Try to get him right there. Excellent. And then I'm going to put one more out the top, right up here. Of course, it's going to be bombs bursting in air here. I'll rotate these up. Just turn that one that way. I'm going to make this one a little shorter. And I give it a little bend. So you guys got to have fun with that dimension. Alrighty. So we'll be texting out our text list the next time we have a new kit too. So make sure you head over to textclee.com or you text us at 734-5201 to get a spot on the list, all right? Because we already texted out when we made this bow, and you could have already seen that video. So we don't want you to miss it next time. Now the bow is going to pop in right here, and I want you just to tuck it in there. Oh my gosh, do you see it coming together? Isn't it so cute? It's just coming together good. I'm going to pop this right in here. And if you haven't played with the 10-inch wreath base, this wreath kit does come with it. Not all of our wreath kits always come with the base, so do read the instructions when you see them. This one does. And I love it because we shoot so far off this, it just looks amazing. Okay, I'm going to trim that off. And you can see how cute that is. Now, go ahead and start to move the ribbons to the back and pull some of these beautiful florals in between each layer. And that's where the magic's going to come into play. We're going to take these other pieces we had left and we're going to start to add a few of them in. I'm going to take one right here and put it right into this side of the bow so it can kind of pop out to the right, because I love that. Hit that with a little glue. We're going to separate these out a little and go right in here, right behind where the bow went in. Yeah, push that in. I'm going to give it a little movement and make sure to pull that Queen Anne's lace through. Oh yeah. I love that coming out of the bow. Do that, do that. All right, we're going to take the other piece and kind of come out the bottom of the bow there. And see, I have one of those Queen Anne lace too I can bring in. Start to maneuver these. I'm going to put that fern in the back because it's a little longer. And now I've got it kind of ready how I want it. I'm going to go in my glue skillet. And we're going to go right tight to the bow again. I'm going to just go into the base. There we go. I'm going to bring that up. There's a nice poppy here too. Everybody's happy in here. Cute. Cute. Okay, we have a couple pieces of greenery left, so I'm just going to kind of swirl her around and see where I might have a hole. I've got one right here. And use these as kind of emergency greenery. We always hold back a couple of pieces for that to help, you know, find holes or find a piece that maybe needed a little bit more length or something. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm going to pop these in. And then how about we'll use one over here, kind of next to this rocket coming on this side. Look how cute it is. I love this wispy full look we're getting on this wreath. And I think you can do this too. When you grab the kit, it's going to give you exactly what you need to make this beauty. Our final step is our little stars here. And I'm going to take this piece and divide it into two sections. You just come down here to the solid part of the wire and get a couple little sections. And then use those into the bow also. Right in tight. So I'll just pull that up. We'll just tuck it right in here. And they're already kind of shaped in an upward manner. So they can come right in there. Oh yeah, cute. And let's put one on the bottom section as well. Y'all can go to town and customize yours all you want. You will have so much fun making this. I know you will. And I cannot wait to see yours. Look at this blue merino. Isn't it great? And I'm going to show you how to really easily knock out a swag with them. Well, hello, Blue Merinos. Great to see you. It's Kali here, checking in with you all. Of course, ready to have some fun, flower fun, floral fun, world floral domination. Let's have fun with flowers this week, and especially today. We are popping out the sunflowers. And you can see all the supplies I have on the table. We're going to make a really cute swag. It's very, very simple and easy, and when you layer all the designs together, it comes out so adorable. So come on in, say hello. I will find your comments so I can definitely say hello to you too. How are you doing from Missouri? Great to see you. Fantastic. I love it. I love it. I'm going to go pull up the comments. Wherever you're watching, if you could do me a favor and like our page, follow, subscribe to notifications, hit that bell icon if you're over on YouTube. That would be fantastic. Okay. So one of the reasons you may want to come hang out with us is I love to floral design. I like to teach you how to do it. I've been doing this 25 years. So I've got a lot of tips and tricks to share with you to make it easier and hopefully take some of the fear out of it for you. I'm not normally live in the mornings, but I wanted to pop in and do a little bonus live this morning to show you some of these beautiful florals that just came in so we can start playing with them. Awesome. Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you from Kentucky. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to be sending out a text in the next few minutes. So if you would like to get text notifications when we're live, you can text the word live. Just text it to 832-734-5201. Or you can also go to text, T-E-X-T-K-E-L-E-A, textkale.com, and then you can sign up that way. Also, if you're on your mobile device, you can do that anytime. So we're going to talk about what's going into the swag today. We've got a swag base that's pre-made. This is going to work great. It's going to be the foundation for our design. Sunflowers are super hot. They almost sell all year long for us, but also they are super hot for summertime, and they'll sell right up to fall. So always a winner. If you didn't see our charger plate video, we've got that available for you on replay, both on YouTube and Facebook. That is a really fun, cute project. Same kind of design, sunflowers. Now we're going to add a bunch of twigs. These have been my favorite twigs to play with lately because they're a little more delicate. So I've got 3 sprays of these put together. We're going to do that, use those. You need a floral spray for the top of your design, so I'm going to stick with another fun sunflower pick. It's got the matching greenery. It just goes perfectly together. And then you need to pick your ribbon. And so I went with the drama. If you add like the black check in, it just gives you the drama. And this happens to have a beautiful, just perfectly coordinating sunflower. Hi, Pat. Good to see you. Hi, Renee. Hey, Linda. Hi, Donna. I'm so glad you can. Deb, I'm glad you're here. Good morning, Cheryl. Hi, Cindy. So it's not a whole lot of supplies. Pretty simple. But the first thing we got to do is prep our base. And this is some of the most tedious thing. If you are in our design school class, y'all, it opens up twice a year. You can get on the wait list if you go over to cleesdesignschool.com. You can get on the wait list for the next time it opens. Right now it's closed for new students. But what we talk about there, and I want to share with you right now, is so important that you shake hands with your materials before you use them. Because in shipping, things get compacted, things get reversed. They're going the wrong way, and I'm really picky with getting the leaves going the right way. So you're going to have to do that first to kind of get this puppy all shaped out the way you want it, get the sunflowers where you want them, and how you want this all to flow down, okay? So once you get a nice flow and you're happy with it, happy with the spacing, sunflowers, then we will work on adding our stem to the top. But I'm going to take a minute and we're going to tie the bow first, because right now, before we get too far, we can decide how long and how many tails we want. And when you're doing your own design, you can tweak it however you want. You can have as many tails or as few as you want. Now, I like a tail for my bow running behind. I am big on depth and dimension, okay? Teaching this all the time. So depth and dimension means I love to have that in the back because it pulls the eye to the back. And then we'll have another tail on the front too, but I want one in the back. So we know that this will be right where our bow is. So we'll just kind of pull that off to the side, and we know, hey, that's how long our tail is going to be. So I'm going to put the swag to the side and hold that while we get our bow maker, and we'll knock it out. Hey, good to see you, Patricia. Hi, Trudy. Hey, Deborah. Good to see you today. I hope your Tuesdays are rocking. I thought I'd pop in a little early for some flower time. I know I'm going to see a lot of you guys tonight in design school, and I will see you over in business coaching. So we're going to have a busy evening, but why not come on and have some fun together? Hey, Nadia. Good to see you. Hi, Deb. Okay, so that is our longest length, okay? And that will depend how long you want it. Hi, Stacy. Great to see you. Hi, Jackie. Now, we're going to do our blast off bow. So those of you who, I see a lot of design school students in here who could help, tell everybody what a blast off bow is, okay? Let them know in the comments. Let's go out to 6.5, guys, on this. 6.5 and twist. 6.5 and out here and twist. Oh, thanks, Pat. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it so much. 6.5 out here. Hi, Janet. All right, y'all know on Wednesday nights I'm always making bows. This is a very similar bow. Very good. Deborah says 3, 2, 1, and what she means, we have 3 loops, and then we have 2, and then we have 1. You got it. Beverly, yeah, Beverly, I'll be on live tonight at 6 o'clock. So if you joined up for business coaching, head over to coachkali.com is where you could sign up, and I will see you there tonight at 6 o'clock Central. Those are Central times. Thanks, Deborah. Good job, Tanya, with the 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Pat's got the 3, 2, 1. Stacy says 3 loops on each side. Bottom of the bow, 2 loops on each side in the middle, 1 loop on each side of the top. Nailed it. Yay! Good, Mary, you got the text. Fantastic. So the text message, guys, is nice because it's actually something that I own, and no matter what happens, because sometimes with social media, things get wonky and you can't find us. No matter what happens, you can get in touch with us, okay? And I can get in touch with you. And you always have our email, too. So if you could get on our text list, it's the most beneficial. That way I can get all the free content to you and you won't miss a beat. Now, you can see I'm making this about 6 inches shorter than that last tail, okay? So bring it in about 6 inches shorter, twist. And now we talked about we're going to put 2 loops. Thank you, Linda. Hey, Elizabeth. Yay, yay, yay. So I'm at 6.5 and now I'm at 5.5, okay, with this. We're tying our bow. You guys, if you just got here, we're doing a swag. And y'all know I get started quick. I'm sorry. If I waited for the text to get everybody, I don't have the patience. We visited for a minute, then we got to rock and roll, y'all. Rock and roll for the replay. Okay. 2, so 3 loops, 2 loops. Now we're going to come back with our finished loop. And I don't really want any more tails, so we're going to do a little trick called a bow tie, which is just a loop at the top with no tails. So you just make a loop like this, and it needs to be large enough to get out to 5 inches on either side. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and I just walk it out till I get it about where I want it, and then I trim it here. How are you, Kim? Great to see you. Hello, bro. Oh, good to see you, Brenda. Georgie, thank you. We're just doing a swag, and this is going to be our drama. All of our drama is going to come from our bow. So this is a blast off with no tails in the center, and we did a bow tie. Super duper cute. All right, let's take that puppy off. Let's take it off. Hey, Carolyn. Yeah, we got to get to it, Jeanette. Got to get to it. We got get in and get it out. Kim, what we're doing a swag, so hang in there. Hang in there. All we've done so far is fluffed out the base, talked about the supplies, and now we're making the bow. So you're perfect. You're going to get to see the construction of the bow. You haven't missed anything. You really haven't. Okay, hold that tight and fluff it out. Yeah, I'm excited. I need to make some more sunflower pieces. Now, a lot of design school students, I see you on here. Y'all's tutorial this week is a daisy. Not necessarily a sunflower, but good enough daisies. Big, bold daisies are great for the summer, too. Okay? Yes, awesome. Thank you, Carol. Thank you for spreading the love. I'm sure we're going to be giving away some sweet treats on the text list today. So if you get a text, if you get a notification, you've won a sweet treat. You will know. You love on us, we love on you. Okay, flip this backward. Now, I'm just going to use check down the middle. Same ribbon. And how are we doing over on TikTok? You guys doing good? Good. Glad you're here. Okay. Now I'm going to run this right down the center. Okay. I'm going to try to put that pretty little sunflower right down the middle. Can you see it? You guys see it over here? I'm running it right down the middle. I love that. Hey, Joellen, good to see you. Oh, Sue, you got the BBB. Girl, you get it so quick. Advantage of living close. Nailed. You got it. Yeah, it's pretty. We got some pretty goodies in there. And this week I'm going to work with the BBB box from last month too. So hang tight, and we'll show you how to use the last BBB box and give you some inspiration. Oh, Deborah, this is just 1.5. I didn't tell you all 1.5 in this one. All right, now put this to the side for a moment. We are going to grab our swag base. So we're working with a pre-made base. Look, boom. Now, let's say you're on a budget. You need to fill your craft booth. You don't want to spend a lot. Look, bow swag, done. Bow swag, done. Okay? So pretty. Drama ribbon, beautiful florals. Now, we're going to take it to the next level. I'm going to just step this up just a little bit more. Okay, so put Mr. Bow off to the side for a second. And let's build the top of the swag and get some drama going. I'm glad you love sunflowers. Now, this is a matching pick. It's like more like a spray. It's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to pop that right in here. Okay, you need to leave a little space for the bow, so I'm leaving a zone in here. Bow zone is a no-go zone. Okay, leave it open. Thanks, Marilyn. Oh, yeah, if you need the link for the bow maker, we can get it for you. We have an affiliate link. We don't sell them. We have an affiliate. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. Hi, Virginia. So these are cable ties, guys. These are used in the electrical department. You can find them at your hardware store. And I'm using these to attach this to the base. Usually a couple just to be extra safe. Now, make sure you're putting them where they'll be nice and camouflaged. If not, you're going to want to glue a leaf or some Spanish moss or something to hide them from the front. I'm not too worried about them from the back, but I want them hidden from the front. Oh, Sue, your stuff's all packed from your move, so now, yes, go get you a wreath, girl. Y'all, one of the nice things about the subscription box, the BBB box, is it's all ready to go. Like, she's got almost everything she needs to make it. At least one, maybe two wreaths, depending how much she puts in there. Okay, so there we go. This is in nice and tight. I can still use the hanger here, and you can see the cable ties a little, but it's not going to be a big deal. Okay, Marilyn, we'll be texting out the entire supply list for this video as soon as we're done. So grab a spot on the text list, and we'll text it all out to you. Here comes the twigs. Now, I like twigs for drama too. You could put the twigs in last, but I prefer to get them in before I have to fight around the bow. So we're going to use what we call our zigzag technique. We're going to put a little out the left and a little out the right. So I'm going to have this one come in, and see, I'm just going to work it right into the base. Oh yeah. So this will be our piece going out to the left. So I'm going to wire that in just a second. Yeah, Dorothy, we sell all of the supplies we're using here today, and we'll get you a link to the supply list shortly, okay? We'll text it out first, and then we'll post it on the website too. Okay, and this one's going to go over on the right side. Okay, I'm just going to slide it in. It needs to come up a little bit higher, so we get some nice twig action. Now you can see how much fun drama that adds. Isn't that fun? 2 twigs going in. Sunflower swag there. And look, all of this is grabbed right on the back right here. And that's even going to create more stability to the whole piece. So grab a cable tie. I'm grabbing both the stems of the twigs up here at the top. So far, I'm only really having to hide this one little area. I know it's hard to see, guys, but that's where everything's getting attached. Okay, just get that nice and tight. I love it. And I'm going to turn it over now and take a look at the back. These, I'm just going to give this a bend down and just kind of let it stay down there. That way it can't be yanked out. So I sell a lot of my stuff in online, or I take it to a craft show or a vendor mall, and I want to make sure that it's going to hold up really well. So I'm going to trim that off. Okay, this longer one, I'll just leave it. So that's all in the back. Yeah, Karen! Twig action! We have our juicy ribbon, our twig action. It's all going down. Okay, and we don't want to leave out the top. The top needs its own twig action. We got the threesome going here with the sunflowers down, the twigs up, And the sunflower's up. I know. I'm a mess. Let's bring this one in. Come on down here. Same, repeat the process here. This one I'm going to kind of use more straight up though. Oh yeah. See how fun that is? Now take and manipulate it around. This is why I like to do this before the ribbon, because then you're going to have to deal with the ribbon too. Okay, flip it back over. Tie that one in. I can still use the hanger. I try not to attach anything where it's going to mess up that hanger, because it's just nice to have that already built in. So come on around here, grab that piece. Let me know if you've tried a swag before like this, where you piece it together. Let me know in the comments. Or are you thinking about trying one? I try to make these pretty easy to where I feel like you can easily do a design. Bend that one up so these can't be pulled out, and then just take and trim it. I'm going to trim this one a little longer. Okay, all good. Twigs are in. Oh my gosh. So earlier it looked really pretty with just the bow, but now we're really stepping it up with the dimension. Now grab the bow we made at the beginning of the video. Watch this puppy come together. Now, if you are not a ribbon person, and believe it or not, guys, there's some people who are not, like an oversized sunflower right here glued into the middle, done. Done. Okay, so you can think of different options. Now, we made this bow at the beginning of the video. This really ties it together so nice. And I always sell swags very well because there's not as much competition out in the general world with swags. There's a lot of wreaths places, not as many swags. So play with them here or there to give it a try. I'm just zip tying this right to the middle. And then we've got to manipulate it. Yay, you learned from me. Awesome. And Karen's done this at Christmas a lot. I love it. I love it. You love my swag? Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, long tail. Remember, we made it to go behind. Pull it behind. Let it be part of the drama in the back. See? Let that go in the back. Grab that long tail. Why am I thinking wormtail from Harry Potter? Words. Words and brain. Now curl these up. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Linda. You get a break. Okay, y'all, we did it. Let's see, how long did that take us? I'm not sure how long. It's not showing me on here how long I've been live with you guys, but not long. It's done. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Are you ready to try a swag like this? Once you get it hung up on your door, you might take and curl a couple of these twigs, let them pop out a little bit more, and bring them towards the foreground. But that's it. That is it, y'all. As soon as I saw this giant ladybug, I was like, we gotta make a wreath with that. And guess what? It's our latest wreath kit. We've got everything in it to make your wreath. The only thing you'll need to do is provide your own grapevine base. But we've got the kit for you, and we're gonna make it all together. So come on, Bloomerinos, let's have some fun with flowers. Y'all, this one starts out with the cutest part of the whole kit is this giant ladybug, and we're going to get her put in our wreath base first to get the whole party started. So she's got these fun dimensional feet, and if you'll just take her and put her in your wreath base. Now the kit isn't coming with the base, so you could choose whatever kind you want, but I'm going to show you how to use it in a grapevine today. Because the little feet can actually kind of wedge in, I'm going to recommend you just start by wedging them in, and then we're going to come behind and actually tie a couple of the feet in. But if you just start by wiggling them under the grapevine, it's a great start to the process. Now, I think she's kind of fun, a little cattywampus. You can turn her, whatever you want, or you can just have her go straight up and down just like this. But we've got to mount her in first. So what you're going to do is you're going to go around her legs with some cable ties or wires, whatever you want to use, and attach at least 3 of the legs just for safety. But I'm just going to go around and do that first. That is so stinking cute. I just knew she was going to be perfect for a wreath because she just kind of goes with it perfectly around the shape, you know. So we do need to use a bigger base on this. If you had a pine wreath you wanted to use, you could use a 24-inch base. You need it to be round, but at least 18 to where her feet can come out here to the edges. So I think I'm going to go for 4 of the feet. I'm making sure I'm getting around them and the grapevine so they're going to hold on really good. I want to make sure she's very stable. About this one. I'm going to do the top one also. So I did 4. You know, keep playing with yours, see how many you need to make her stable. But basically, once you get it all done, before you even trim it off, do the shake test. She feels like she's on good. And we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm just going to trim off all of these little guys. These are the ends of the cable ties, okay? So one of the things we teach in design school is we teach all the mechanics to get the process started. Sometimes it's a lot of steps to get to this level, just to even get the pieces in. But we make it super easy so you know how to do it. She's in. She's good to go. Let's get started with the flowers. Now, we have flowers, we have berries, and we have greenery. So the first thing we're going to do, one of the skills I teach in design school also is setting your perimeter with greenery. How important it is to lay out all the zones and the dimension and all that good stuff. So one of the things we're doing right now as we head into the summer season in design school, we are talking about transitions and movement in our designs as we transition seasons. I thought that was so clever. And what I like to do is when I'm teaching in class, I like to take skills that you know and you learn over time and make them make sense moving from project to project. So pretty soon you start to think like a designer and you're able to do things on your own. So when you get new supplies, you can start to use them using the techniques we teach you in design school. Starting with the greenery, we're going to have 2 bushes of the fishtail and the green in your kit. Now, this is pretty long. We don't need to come out that long. This is a 360 design, so it's going to go all the way around this wreath. So you have to make sure you get really good coverage with your greenery. So I'm going to trim this bush all the way down and not have it super long, okay? I'm going to do that on both of them and push these up a little bit. But if you want the link to this kit, just let us know. We'll put it here in the comments. And then you can grab the exact link to this project. Don't forget, when you're on the website at Khalees.com, you can see exactly the supply list, the kit link, and you can get back to the links for these videos. If you go on Khalees.com and there's a project there that you cannot access, it's because it's for design school, and they get first dibs and first access to new products, new designs, new classes, and they get discounts on supplies, so they get the extra special treatment. So if you come into one of those, you may not have access to anything until you're ready to join design school. But on a tutorial that we do out for the general public, you can find the links to watch it wherever you'd like to, on Facebook, YouTube. If it's short enough, it can be on Instagram or TikTok, but the longer videos will be on Facebook or YouTube. And the links are right there, and the links to the supply list, so it makes it really, really easy for you. So what I want to do is start putting around my greenery. Now, I want you to pick a direction and just go in that direction. So I generally go clockwise, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to start putting these pieces in clockwise. You notice I'm not coming straight off. I'm working my way around. And I'm going to start to just put one where every, basically at 12, 3, 6, and 9 to start with, okay? That way we get just kind of even distribution to start with. And I just want to make sure that we're all coming out about the same length. Let's see, can you see it pretty good? Here's going to be my 12 o'clock, a little bit off to the side. Perfect. Yep. And let me go by 3 o'clock. Now, once those are in, you kind of separated your wreath into sections, which will help you get pretty even placement. And then you're just going to come in and you're going to put, I'm putting Spanish moss to cover my glue, but now I'm going to put one piece of greenery in between each of these now. So you see how easy that's going to start coming together. And the reason we want to do that is because we don't want to use up all of our greenery and have a big hole somewhere. So we have to get it spread out somewhat evenly. And you just keep going clockwise. She's gonna be cute already because she is cute. And then we start adding this beautiful fishtail fern, which is exclusive to Cleese.com. I love it. It's one of my favorite greeneries for many years now. I have a wispy type of style, so this goes great with the designs I like to make. And this particular style, I'm having so much fun with because it's red and black, which is going to pop on your door in the summertime. It really is. All right, next step for greenery is, and we still have fishtail fern left. You're going to hold on. We're going to use some more of it in a minute, but we got to layer these puppies in. We got to have that depth and dimension. So these we're going to take and separate into sections. I'm just going to tear these down, and then we're going to end up with 3 different stems here. And I take and trim these down to just a couple of inches. We don't need them really, really long, just like that. Now, we're going to start to put these right on the piece of greenery, right before the piece of greenery you just put in. Now, these have a little bit of white berry, so it's important we start to put those in. So I'm going to put one right here, kind of in between these two. The 6 o'clock and the 7 right between them, okay? The next one, the same spot. So just go right behind the first 3 that you put in, all right? If that helps you with placement. And it'll give you more equal distribution. So the next one's going to go behind there. Beautiful, and you can spread these out. You can see how full they're going to be. All right, we have one more bush, and I'm going to tear this one down too the same way. Just pull those off, and then you can trim really easy. Trim, trim, trim. And I will take, and I'm going to put this one behind the 3 o'clock. Okay, and then we've got one at every hand of the clock, which gets it put in on their 4 different places, okay, of our first original pieces we put in. And that means we have 2 pieces left, and we're going to hold off on those 2. We'll use those to fill in just a little bit. All right, now it's time for our fun flowers, and we're going to use a poppy. A poppy's a great flower to use. It has meanings as far as patriotism, but it's also just bright red with a little touch of yellow in there, so it works great. And poppies, their heads move around with all this movement on their stems, so they're fun to do stuff with. And you can rotate these petals around to make them a little more open. You can pop them down. They just are wild and whimsical, so I love them. So we're going to take and cut these off as long as they'll go on their bush. Right here. Just trim them right off. All right, trimming everybody super long because I want that kind of vibe. All right, the bush is all done, and now we're ready to put these in. Now, go ahead and count them so we can figure out how many we have per side. That kind of helps you in your placement. So I've got 3 heads, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 heads. That's a weird number. 2, 4, 6. Oh, it does have 8 heads. Usually bushes have odd, so. All right, so we need to get like 4 per side. So let's start with our first one up here. Now with these, I'm gonna go a little bit tighter to the base so they don't, they kind of come in a little bit closer. So we're gonna work right here. I'm gonna start right here and just bring that head forward. Now we want these to have lots of dimension. I want it to be moving around like that. That's glorious to me. So get them moving. There's the first one. Here's number 2. And we're just kind of going for even placement. We're going to just have one, and we're going to move the next one in. And we just want them to be kind of whimsical. I love that we were able to have this in a kit for you guys because then it's so easy for you to shop. You just click one button and you can grab exactly what you need to reproduce this exact design. And it just makes it so easy. There's number 3. All right, I'm going to come in with number 4. And it's okay if they overlap your ladybug a little. Once that glue sets up, we can manipulate them even more. We can make them wiggle more or go more outside. We just kind of need everything to start setting up first. All right, here come our next few. Get these guys in. And you just work your way around the whole design. It's just so whimsical with the big ladybug. Now, leave a little space over here because we are going to put a bow in our design. The ribbon does come with the kit. You do not have to do the bow if you don't want to, but I'm going to leave a little spot over there for a bow. So we'll be a little more dense on this side with a little bit more of an open hole and a little bit more dense with the poppies around here. Okay. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And there'll be a separate link to the bow video so you can find it. And we're going to put that in next. All right, here's my last poppy. So leaving that open, I'm going to put one more down here at the bottom, because there's going to be a lot of drama going on at the bow over there in just a second. Okay, you see already we're popping all the fun red. Isn't that just so much fun? I love her. I love the way these look. Now poppies are also fun to do this with. Is take and curl their stems. It's just too fun. So you might want to do that with a few so that they're not all quite as long. Some can go tighter. Some can be out longer. Just curl that around your finger. I have too much fun with these. Just make them whimsical, you know. I think it makes it have them character. All right, I talked about a bow. Guess what? Here is our bow. Ta-da! Yes, the link, you can find it. If it's not here linked in the video, just ask in the comments. We'll get you the link to make your own bow. But this one has check. It's got a check with a big pretty red. I love that one. And then we got a ladybug ribbon right in the middle to make it a little bit more whimsical. So this, I think, is a lot of fun to attach to her leg right here, all right? And when we do that, it'll kind of be at a little bit of an angle. So I think that is adorable. So I'm going to pull this bloom up, and we'll kind of move that to the side. This is going to go right here. And because it's going to be attached to her leg, it should sit up a little bit more in the foreground, hopefully. Let me get it on there tight. Tight, tight, tight. All right. Oh, yes. See what I'm talking about? Okay, let's trim that off. And that's fun, just kind of having that angle pop out. I love it already. I love it already. This is one of the biggest kits we've done in a while with big elements. And I think it's just so fun. Now, because that's tied on her leg, the neat thing is I get all this drama up here with the ribbon coming across the base and flowing down. Let me show you. Let me show you. Look at all that. Ooh, so pretty. So pretty. So let's come in and we're ready to fill in our next layers. So let's get that greenery in before we put our berries. They're going to be our very last touch. So we've got 2 more of the pieces that have the white. So what I'm going to do, I have a white here and a white here. I'll just go in between it. All right. You can even take and break this down into 2 separate stems if you want, just to get a little more coverage. So I'm going to, one will have white berries, one won't. So I'm going to take the one with the white, and we're going to go in between right here. Now, if you can see any glue, when you put that in, you come back and cover that with Spanish moss. That doesn't come in your kit, but we have that as an extra add-on if you don't have any Spanish moss in your craft room. Now I'm going to bring the next piece up here. And we're going to take that one and just kind of spread it out. That looks great. I've got a white berry there, and then I have a white berry down here. So this is the perfect area to come with a little bit more. So we'll do the same thing. I'll separate it and do a couple of picks. You can get a little more bang for your buck now. And I'm just filling it in a little, just fluffing it out. We're getting a little tighter to the base. And we talk about that a lot in design school too, because we've got to work to fill in our areas to give it that depth and not have a hole. especially in this type of design where we work all the way around the perimeter. We want to make sure we've got good coverage. All right, look at that. Isn't that great? All right, now come back and grab your fishtail fern. We're going to make it a little shorter now. And I'll take these, just push them up a little shorter, and we'll trim them to where they got a little poof of a cluster here. And they're going to look like this. So you're going to do that with all your remaining stems. Just like this. Okay. And pull this one out too. Now take and hit those in the glue pot and just put them right in here. And I want these shorter to kind of come around the perimeter close to my ladybug, so I can kind of soften her edge there and make her feel like she's part of the design and she's not just like, ah, here I am. I like to work in and soften those lines. I'll call that a lot in design school. I call that breaking the plane, so that everybody's kind of in their own layers in a design. It gives you that depth. And depth and dimension mean more beauty to your piece, a higher perceived value if you're a seller, and just a higher level of design instead of flat. And depth can be created quite a few different ways. We can create it with color, we can create it with texture, and then we can actually create it literally by how we layer it in the design. So it's kind of amazing how you can utilize all of that when you're creating a wreath. It's the multimedia textures that we use that really make this work. Now this piece I'm going to put right out of the middle of the bow. So I have it kind of coming. You see how I'm going to bring it up into the bow? Super important detail because it breaks the plane of that. Now this looks beautiful. We could be totally finished right here, but we're going to grab our berries. That's the last piece that comes in the kit. Remember, the kit has everything except for the base. So you can build this on any type of base you'd like to work with. But in this case, we used an 18-inch grapevine wreath. Guess what? Berries. And we picked out a really shiny berry that's going to pop the surface and really look good with those, the body of the ladybug. So let me trim these off. Y'all, I have found I love using different textures in my designs, different, in this case, this is shiny and some things are flat. But when we put a kit together, you notice the ribbon has that little bit of shine. So it's a perfect opportunity to put a shiny berry in because the combo together, really works. So here we go. Now, once again, I've got a couple of longer berries. I'm going to pull these off, these really long stems, and then everybody else is kind of the same length. So what I can do with these, I'll just trim them down a little. Get my wire cutters back out, trim them down. And now everybody's the same length. And we're going to work kind of in between our poppies and just have a poppy, a berry, a poppy, a berry. So if we do that, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 berries minimum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. We have exactly what we need. And I'm just going to start right here in this section. And we're treating this like a twig, and we want it to be whimsical. But I still kind of want to work it out and around, out and around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one and I'm going to skip one to kind of get started in between, okay? I'm going to do one and skip one. All right, so then I'm going to skip this one, do this one. Just to kind of get a feel for how they're going in and how much I want. Now, if you get one, like that one had a damaged berry, I can take and hit it with a Sharpie, or I can turn it where you don't see it. You can do either way. All right, so I'm going to skip one. I'm going to have one coming out of my bow, which I love that, of course. And make sure you're getting a good amount of glue on here. I love this coming from underneath. And I do want a little bit of angle on it. I still have the shape of my wreath going here. So it's kind of curving. All right, and down here I have two poppies really close, so I'm just going to go in between these two here. Now, what I want you to do before you put the last berries in is I want you to use one of our tricks. And that is I'm going to step back and look at my piece, and I'm going to focus, like kind of squint a little, and I'm going to see where the red dominates and where it looks like I need a little bit more, all right? So that is just a little designer tip. You can try it. So here I go. I'm going to go where you are. I'm exactly where you are, looking at the wreath right now. I'm squinting my eyes. Oh, we did a great job. I think I just want a little here and maybe a little more right here and here. So my goodness, I'm proud of us because sometimes it's more obvious, but this was really good. So this one I'm going to use right in here, staying with the curvature of the design. Now, if your glue is all covered by your layers, you don't have to put moss in, but if it's not, put it in, and then my other one here. And these berries just really added that finishing pop that I wanted in the design, you know, that pop of red. And it's going to look super on your door if you're making it for yourself. If you're making it to try and give as a gift, I think they're going to love it. They're going to adore this one. Because who can't resist that giant ladybug and this killer bow, poppies, of course, and then the berries. There are the piece de resistance. Boom. You know what really works and why those berries work? Because we have polka dots on here. And when you have another dot that brings in that pattern also to your design, even though it's not a dot, it's a berry, it just visually is super pleasing. So we knocked it out of the park. You guys, you knocked it out of the park. You're going to love this. Hey, Bloomerinos, look what we're going to make today. We are making an adorable bow that's lemon inspired. And we're going to be using this bow in one of our wreath kits, but I'm going to show you here how to make it step by step. So we are going to use these three ribbons. This one here, take a look at it. It has a tan background with beautiful lemons and even like a little bit of, you know, the sheen of the lemon. It's just like a juicy lemon. You know, you're thinking summer day. And this ribbon here is called a Swiss dot, and it's little bitty dots. Texture to it. We love that. And the bright yellow, which goes great with this white and yellow on the lemons and the lemon slices. And then finally, this is a nice detail ribbon we're going to add to our bow, and has a little black edge, which is pulling in with the dark green on the leaf, and then it's bringing that natural kind of summer vibe to the whole wreath itself. So those are our three ribbons. These do come in this kit. If you need the link to the kit or the kit video, just let us know right here in the comments and we'll be happy to get that for you. But I'm going to start off by doing this one. Now, we're going to use the Swiss dot on the back. So I'm going to load that on my bow maker. And if you've never been here before, I'm so glad you're able to stop by and watch this video. I'm Kali, and on here we like to teach you how to make wreaths and swags and centerpieces and anything with artificial florals. That is my expertise, and I'm so glad you came to watch. Now, when I start a funky bow, I have an 8-inch tail, and I measure that, and then I twist and have that go up, and that gets me going. Now on the left side, I'm going to start my bow. And over here, that is going to be about 6 inches. It doesn't need to be too big. 6 inches, and then I twist it when I get to the center. And I like to keep this nice and loopy. It gives you that nice flowy feel, which is the style of wreaths that I teach in design school. So when you're watching here, you're learning that too. And when you're ready to take your skills to the next level, you're going to want to come join us in class, because there, help you build on the basics and start to really get your designs poppin', really looking amazing. Pop it, like the kids say, pop in. It was an interesting choice in words for me, but yeah, it's popping. These little bumps on this ribbon are super cute. So we got 2 loops on each side, and we got a tail going up and down. Now, bring in your next layer. And for us, it's going to be this one with the tan and the black. I love that. And this will lay really pretty against the ribbon we already have up here. Now, I'm going to take and trim this. This also comes in the kit, and you will get it. Now, it's not a wired ribbon, but I still like to use it in here. So I generally make that tail just a little bit shorter. And these, we're going to make them also shorter at 5.5. So twist. And anytime you put the black edge detail on a ribbon, it looks so good. It looks so good. And I'm going to do 3 loops of this one. And it will give us this kind of flower effect almost at the center of our bow. That twist didn't want to hold out. I'm going to hold it with my fingers. All right, and then my final piece here, I'm twisting again. And then I will cut this tail to go on top of this one. Very similar, all right? Okay, now our next layer is going to be the lemons themselves. This is the lemon ribbon. And I'll cut this at an angle to be opposite the one at the top. And we'll pop that in at 8 inches here and bring it down. Yes, look how cute. Y'all need to get some juicy lemon decor on your door this summer. I think it just brings up a great feeling. It's just screaming summer. Like I said, it's popping. And these loops are at 5 inches, and I just did one on either side so far. And now I'm going to twist again, and we're going to put in a couple. We're going to build this puppy up. All right, and then spread these out just like that, front and back. All right, we got 2 on each side so far, and now I'm going to take and add the 3rd one. So these are going to roll just right between the other black and tan pieces we put in. I love how wispy it looks. Then we'll cut this to match down here, and it'll be an opposite cut of what we got going. Perfect. And now let's get our yellow, bringing it back just to finish out this center. And we're going to have a shorter tail now, probably about 6 inches. Twist it, hold it. And you can see how versatile it is to build up your bow, just like this. It's popping. It's popping. Everything's popping. Y'all definitely should put "it's popping" in the comments, because that would let me know you were here. And we can add that to our vocabulary. Normally I say ribbon is juicy, but today I'm thinking summer and sunshine, and yeah. I guess, you know, if anything, lemons should be juicy. It's juicy and it's popping. Oh my gosh, guys. All right. And you can see I took it off the bow maker right here. And what I need to do now is take and rotate this back behind between my fingers. And now I make the magic come all together and I fluff it up, okay? So your job is to get this really going. Separate these out. Make sure you got a little bit of loop or a tail everywhere. Same thing over here. And then you know it's looking so cute once you get it fluffed up, and you want all that dimension. Really important. Now I'm going to add a cable tie to the back, and that'll be how we attach it to our project that we're going to use it on. But y'all, if y'all have enjoyed making this bow, make sure you come and you like, subscribe, and follow, because I'm doing stuff like this every week. If you'd like notifications when I'm live creating for you or with you, make sure you get on our email list, or our text list would be even better. Now I'm going to use this little strip of ribbon I just cut off and put it down the center. So our text list is idea. That is 832-734-5201. Just text us VIP to get on the list, and we will shoot you out a text anytime we have a new video coming out. If you send us email on the text list, we'll send you a link where you can get on our email list, where we're sending out weekly emails with inspiration so you can find these videos again easily, and easily find how to join us in design school as well. Look how pretty. Look how cute. Isn't it great? We did it. We made it together. We're getting ready to work with our foam base. Now, this is actually foam underneath like an artificial moss, which makes it so easy to work with, and you got a great clean looking starting point. And we are making our sunshine lemon wreath kit, and we've already made the bow, so you can learn how to make that on a different video. And you can see the other supplies that come in the kit. You get 3 full rows of ribbon, which is great because we are going to need these to make not only one bow, but we're going to make a nice, really pretty hanger for this wreath, and you'll have extra ribbon for other projects. This is a piece of wire that does not come in the kit, but you will need to find a 18 gauge piece of wire because that's how we're going to make the hanger out of. Now, you get the wreath base, you get this gorgeous berry bush, and the neat thing about this is it's got this great greenery and twigs. So that'll be our solution for our greenery and filler flowers. And if you're in design school, you've learned how important all those fillers really are. Then in your kit is going to be a couple of lemon stems here. These are perfect with their lemon leaves that are kind of smaller scale. That's going to work great on our base. And then finally, because we've got a lot of moss look going on with our wreath, we want to use this right here. And these are twigs that we'll be using that have that moss covering on them that goes great with this. So this wreath literally screams summer, and I think you're going to enjoy making it with us. The first thing I'm going to do today is we are going to be putting on the hanger so you can learn how to do that. So let's do that first. All right, Blue Burritos, we're going to be making our latest kit, and that means adding a hanger to this. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to need an 18 gauge wire, and we're going to use the ribbons that come with this kit right here in order to make a hanger. Now, I don't think it's so cool to make the hanger actually out of the ribbon, but we pretend it is made out of it. So what I want you to do is kind of find what you think is going to be the top of your wreath base. In this case, this one looks good everywhere. So I can just kind of flip it over and know this is going to be my top. I'm going to turn it to the side here so it's a little easier for me to work with. This is a piece of 18 gauge wire that I'm folding in half. This one's paper wrapped, but you can find these wrapped with like different like little plastic or twine, whatever you need. And then I'm going to put this right here on the back, and I'm going to grab some floral pins. Now, if you don't know what a floral pin is, it is a metal U-shaped pin. They're very hard to see on camera. You see it on the top of my hand? All right. And you can buy them at the craft store like this, and they're great to go into things like this that are foam. And we use them in floral design all the time. So I'm going to take and just push this in here, and I'm going at an angle so I don't push through my wreath. I'm going to push it in at an angle. Okay, so I went in that way. This way. So we've got 2 of those in. Now what I'm going to do now is just fold these back so they're going to hold right over that. And now I know that will be my hanger. And it's so simple on a foam base. Well, that's fine. That's cool. But y'all, we don't want that showing. We want to be able to cover that with ribbon. So I'm going to show you how to do that now and make it really cute. So grab you some ribbon and decide what you want at the top. And I'm going to use this one at the top. This is the bow we did on another video. And that one's going to be our bow on this wreath. So I think the lemons would look really cute up here at the top. So what I want you to do is cut a strip long enough on each side to kind of come around and hide our hanger. So I'm just kind of guessing on on the length right now. If we started back here and we hid the wire, right? And we came around, it would need to be about this long. I'm going to cut it a little extra long. Okay, and make sure these cuts are straight because we're going to go on the edge of the wreath. Okay, so right here in the front, take and just twist this around, tuck that in. So here's what it looks like on the back. It's tucked in the front. It's a little too long. I'm going to cut it a little shorter. You see what's happening? All of a sudden, my wire is disappearing behind this ribbon. All right. Let's see. I think that's going to work perfect right there. So I'm going to lay these pieces down right here, and you're going to come back and now pin that ribbon in the same spot, okay? Now, when you go through the ribbon, it is a little tricky to punch through. So punch, through and then do the glue if you can. Go back in the same holes and then try to go at an angle again. You don't want to push through the top of the, through the front of the wreath. Ooh, perfect. That's going to fit on there perfectly. And now this on this side. Now this is a little bit of extra time, a little work, but in design school and here too, I want you to learn how to make your pieces quality that are going to last a long time. And if you want to sell them, you want your customers to be incredibly thrilled. And let me show you how nice and polished this looks. So when this is hanging on their wreath hanger at their door, that is what it will look like. Isn't that clean and neat? That looks great. Now, if you want to go to the next level and just take it a little bit further, what we're going to do is gather this a little bit to make a little loop at the top, right? And now you're going to want to get a cable tie. We'll put a little cable tie right there. I think the loop is fine and it looks good, but I think sometimes we could go a little bit further, right? So here's my green cable tie. I'm going to come in here and we're leaving a little loop at the top, and now I'm going to tie this on tight. All right. Okay. So you can see here, make sure the ribbon just pulls right above your wire. So you've created a little hanger here. And now with this part, trim that off. You can come in and add a little bit of another detail ribbon. And you don't have to go crazy. I'm just going to use the brown and black that comes in the kit, and I'm going to put that across here. And I'll move that little nub kind of to the back so it doesn't show so much. And all I'm going to do is just do a little hand over hand knot. We want to hide the cable tie holder. There's one knot. Do one more. Cute. And then take these and just trim them a little shorter. Boom. And boom. So, it's simple like that. You have a professional held on hanger that's adorable. And it's going to work at the top of our wreath. And from the back, yep, all wired. You won't have saggy ribbon as your hanger. You'll have a nice, polished, professional hanger. And now we're going to get ready to use the rest of the supplies in the kit to make this wreath. Now, this is a foam wreath base, and the advantage of that is I'm going to be able to build this right on the wreath base. The only thing you will need to make this kit on your own is you'll need floral pins, a glue gun, wire cutters, cable ties, and some 18 gauge wire, and then you'll be set to go. But you do have to use floral pins to put this design together because we're going to work right into the base. Now, our greenery and filler we're going to use is this berry bush, and it works excellent for this project. Now, ideally, we don't want to cut this into small pieces because then it will mean lots of places we have to attach to the wreath. So in order to make this easier construction, what I want you to do is use a method we teach in design school called clustering, and we're going to do it here today. So I'm going to build up my cluster with using the base that the greenery and the greenery, the picks, the lemon picks come on. And it will help me have a faster construction and more stable. So the first thing I want to do is I want to lay out my background. So on this particular bush, you see these big leaves? We move that to the back because we want them to work as our background greenery. We want this pretty ivy, that we want to be in the front because that's like so pretty. And then this lacy leafy fern, yeah, we want it up front too. So you start just kind of placing it out here and you shape it up, all right? Just kind of get a good start. Now, when we put this on our wreath and we make our cluster, I know that it's going to go down at the bottom here. Let me move our twigs. So down here at the bottom. Now, and I'll be able to attach it like that. But I know I need some more coming down, right? I've got this coming down. I'm going to try to get this berry coming down. And our bow will be in the middle, which we've already made our bow. So you can kind of look and you say, okay, we need more length. So in order to create a little space in here, what I want you to do is kind of cut this bush in half. All right, we're going to use a little tricky trick. So I'm going to use this up here high, right? And this will fill in around the bow. But then I'll be able to bring this piece back, keep that stem on, and extend this down. Now I'm just going to build it on the table for a little bit. But you see how I just took my bush and I kind of made a little mini swag with it? Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're making our own little mini swag. So you are going to need several cable ties, guys, to do this. So just get you a package of those because they're going to be part of how we're putting this together. Now, most of the cable ties are going to be hidden here in the background of our design. So you're not going to really notice them. But just in case you want to think about what leaves we could use to hide any mechanics or Spanish moss. If you have some Spanish moss in your stash. Okay, now lay your bow in there now. See how we extend it out better? That's all we were trying to accomplish there. Now, let me grab a couple more cable ties. There's some shorter green ones. I'm going to grab a couple of those. Let's build up from here. So here is my lemon pick. One of them, I have two of these. Remember, we're going to use our bow in the middle, so we've got to make sure that these are laying out really nicely outside of what we would call the bow zone in design school. So that's what we're doing here. We're laying this out further. So there's one, and this is such a really nice wired stem. I mean, sometimes I think, oh, this is so good quality. I love this. Every little piece is wired. So this is just great to lay in right there. And you can see I am not cutting any of these stems. We are just building up this little swag right here behind. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. Scoot this lemon over a little bit. Now let me add the bow in the middle. Hey, that's fine. Good spacing. So you're just checking for that by keep bringing your bow back. So if you haven't made your bow yet and you're watching this part of the video, you kind of have to have an idea of what size it is. Now, you're going to watch me just weave in some of the berries between the lemons and give it a cohesive look so it doesn't look like this is laid on top, but it's kind of built in. And we like to call that breaking the plane. I like for different florals to break the plane of other florals. If you're like me and you yank off that berry, just glue it back on. That was a little aggressive. That can happen. All right, my lemon, let's bring this forward. I'm going to bring this fern a little bit over here. Just like to twist those around a little and just bring them into the design. If we can. That one might be a little too, it's going to have to go behind. I love that ivy because it's all curly. Okay, once I'm happy with that, and I think I've got good spacing, right? We come in with those cable ties we just grabbed, and we continue to make our little cluster here. So we're making a mini swag. One more cut down here. Y'all, we've been doing a whole class on lemon and sunshine pieces in design school this last week. And you know what? Together, the collection is amazing. So if you're in class and you haven't had time to go log into the portal, make sure you get in there because it is so cute. This would go great with our collection we just made. Okay, look how nice and strong that is. Now what I want you to do is, remember I told you we got to identify some leaves we could take off. I'm going to steal a couple of these lemon leaves that are kind of flipping around. We're going to pull those off because I don't like them going backwards anyway. Because I'm a crazy leaf pet peeve. I like them forward. Now I'm taking these and gluing them on top of the cable ties that might show down here, just right on that base. Okay, so I kind of hid some mechanics. Don't you love it? All right, I've got one extra leaf. This is going to be hidden by the bow, so I don't really have to worry about it. Now, we've got our swag made. Bring your wreath back over, and you're going to start to see this cutie come together really fast. Now, when you put this on, we have to kind of center it where there's half weight on the left, half weight on the right, so it doesn't sag too much. So you bring it down so this bow can be balanced on here so it doesn't sag. And you might have to play with that a little. But once you do, you'll know exactly, okay, it's right at the center. It's coming down the middle of that hanger. I love that. So it looks like this right here, okay? It's coming right down the middle. We know our bow is going to be coming into there, and we want all of that lining up. Lines are so important in your design. So I'm going to angle that up just a little bit more, and you double check what you want. Now, I want you to grab your twig stem and bring it back over. We're going to kind of use it in the background of our cluster we just made. Okay, so pull it off for a second. Slide this dude back over. Now your twig, you can go ahead and trim off this stem. We don't need it that long, so just trim it off right here. And you can hold on to that wire to use in a different project. And what I want you to do is go ahead and play with the direction of some of these twigs, because we got to change direction when we hit our bow. All right. Design school students know what I'm talking about and how important that is. You can see immediately when I lay that in there, now I've got these fun wispy twigs that add a whole nother level to your design. And I highly encourage you doing that. Get the twigs out. Now let's put in there, one cable tie at the center should be good for this. Then we're going to be ready to kind of attach it to our wreath once we get the bow in. So we've made our swag. Now we're bringing our bow in, and we're going to put it right in the middle. Isn't this fun? I mean, it feels like I can't do that, Kali. I cannot make these things you do, but then I hope when I break it down step by step, you really feel like, wait a minute, I can do that, because I know you can. Y'all, designing and creating with artificial flowers just brings me so much joy, and being able to teach you. I hope that you can find creativity in your heart and you can make something beautiful for yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve some love. And it's okay to have a pretty home and a pretty space to work in. It's okay to have a pretty craft room. All of those things are so important. I'm going to just curl these up a little bit to kind of start playing with them. We'll do more in a minute, but now that our mini swag is made, the fun part is we're going to add it to the wreath. All right? And it's going to kind of, remember, going to cascade down and over like this. So it's sitting at this angle. So what I want you to do now is get your basket of floral pins back, because this is how we're going to attach it to our base. Now grab your glue skillet. Here's my glue skillet right here. I'm going to put a little hot glue. You do have to glue them as you go into the foam. And then I want you to get in here to the base and just go over the stems and put it in at an angle so you don't pop through the back. So there goes my first pin. And I would like you to get at least 3 in down here at the bottom. Now I'm going to come from this side. And you can kind of go through the center. You can go beside a cable tie, however you want to hold it. That one I grabbed it. Cable tie. All right, now let me turn it to the side. And we can come up here too. Remember, I can grab some pieces up here. When you work with a foam wreath base, the main thing you don't want to do is get a lot of pins in one area. You want to try to spread them out if you can, so you don't create any weaknesses in the foam. Now, where's our leaf? We saved a leaf earlier. I've lost it. I thought, oh, here it is. Now, anywhere you put a floral pin you need to hide, no big deal. You just grab that leaf, you throw some glue on the back, and then I just, boom, glue it right there. It looks like it belongs there, and that hides in the background. So work your way all the way around. I think I want one more on this side. But this turned out amazing, guys. I love it. I love it. And I think you can make it too. And I can't wait for you to share with us what you've been making. Put it here in the comments, what you're working on. You can always send us an email. Shoot it to us on the text list. We can't wait to see what you've been creating and help you along on your floral journey, because y'all, it is so much fun to have fun with flowers. And I appreciate each and every one of you being here, because making things like this is what I truly just love to do. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, Bloomerianos, make sure you check out the finished pictures of this hanging up, and make sure you make something beautiful today. Just because something has a patriotic color palette doesn't mean you can't use it all year long. So I'm going to show you how to do this. This particular kit starts off with a container that's got a classic looking plaid on there that never goes out of style. And we're going to make this with a blue and white floral to go in here. So it's kind of got a summertime vibe going to it, but literally you can leave it out till the fall. So that's our goal with this one, is a piece that's nice and transitional, but it screams, hey, the weather's warm, the colors are warm but soft, and this is so pretty. So we got to start off by getting some foam, and the foam does not come in the kit. You will have to purchase this separately. But this particular foam is comes from a big sheet, and I cut it into two little squares that can slide right into the center, okay? I prefer the big sheets of foam, but you can always get smaller pieces and work several into making your base too for your arrangement. So I'm going to start off with some Gorilla Glue. I like to put that in the bottom. You also want to prep the bottom, if possible, just with a little alcohol wipe it down. I put some Gorilla Glue in there, and that's going to set up with my hot glue. And I've got my electric skillet with hot glue just right over here to the side. And I'm going to dip these in and just put them right into the bottom of the container. So I've got two, just going to kind of wipe them on each other. I do want a little bit of excess on there so they can goo out a little bit, as I call it. Let them goo out. And then we're going to let that just set up a couple minutes, and then we'll get started on our arrangement, building it up. Hey, are you on our text list? Because if you're not on our text list, that's how you're going to get notifications when I'm building a kit just like this. So you want to get on the text list at 832-734-5201. All you got to do is text to me the word VIP, because you're a VIP, and when you get on the list, you will not miss notifications for new videos, and I don't want you to miss any of them. All right, you're going to grab your big sunflowers. They're going to shape out our design first. We're going to put these in first. But make sure, as you're shaping out your leaves, that you come in and you like and follow. Make sure you share this video with your friends, so that way we can continue to make beautiful content for you to enjoy watching. So that's a great way to support us. If you're able to come and shop from our store, that's even better. But a like, a share, a follow, and all that helps us out also. So do what you can to help all your favorite creators. Now, I took the first stem and I broke it down. I cut it at the first nodule where it's made to be cut. And that kind of gives me a starting point here for my design. I know that I want this piece to be a little bit high. Now, This design is going to have a smaller base, but we are going to have it just cascading right out and having a lot of motion. So my first piece is going in, and you see how it's kind of chilling, it's kicking back a little. So important. Now we're going to kick out from there more of like an L shape with my next piece. So this one, once I shape it all and shake hands with it, just like we do in design school, we want to shake hands and open up the floral. Then I'm going to take and break this down into some shorter pieces. So I'm going to cut off the big flower and cut off the smaller flowers. And now we're going to take and kind of create our own little cluster over here to the side in somewhat of an L shape. So I'm going to start off with the biggest bloom first, because we have him kind of kicking up high, chilling over here. This one's going to come out to the right. I'm going to come into the side of the foam, and I want him to just kind of be, oh yeah, we're happy. I'm happy. I'm looking over this way. I'm so happy. And I'm going to support him by going around him. This is the front of the design, so I want one coming forward, of course. We'll have him look up a little bit. Now, the bud is going to go into the back. So I'm going to trim this off, save those leaves, and the bud is going to go into the back. So as you start to lay out your pattern here, you want to think about where everybody's going. And I want him to look forward. Okay, we want it to be kind of flowing already when we just see the main flowers in. Okay, take a look. Take a look. All right, now save these leaves. We'll use them in a little bit. But before we get any twigs in, we need to come in and get our greenery. And this is our fishtail fern. It always gives us a really nice wispy design. So I'm going to push this one up a little bit, but I'm going to cut these to 2-inch stems, okay? On this bush. Get it all broken down like that. Now with this one, I know I need a few longer ones. So I'm going to take like 3 longer ones to start without pushing it up at all. And we will pop these in around our main bloom. So one of the things I like for our designs to be very organic feeling. And I think that's how we feel when we're doing this. Uh-oh, I knocked off the head. If that happens, no worries. You just put a little glue. It can happen. And we're just going to put him back on. You happy now, you pretty little head? He's happy. Okay, our first fern went in up the top. And these are the long ones we're going to use. And I want you just to come in and just snuggle right up to the other. Snuggle right up in here. And then put one right in the middle. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure this main flower is getting all the loving. You see how it's getting all the loving? Now we're going to love on this bottom one too. So I'm going to take the shorter pieces and go right around him. So this is the shorter bush. We already cut shorter. And we're working right around the main floral, just like we did at the top one. We're just repeating that same process. Oh my gosh, so pretty. And then one right up the middle. This one I'm going to do a little bit more clumpy, because I want that to kind of sit in the middle. So you can tell we're not just shoving anything in, we're thinking about where everything's going. And now we're ready to fill in around the base with the greenery to kind of really fill up the design. So what I want you to do is push all of these where they're clustered and shorter, okay? We're going to do that with every one. Look how pretty. Look how pretty. All right, now we're going to start to work our way around with these so they really fill in. So I might pull them a little bit tighter, trim that off, and let's start to fill in our design. Kind of work from the center out. Instead of working just from on the edge out, work from that center out. That blue is so pretty. It is just such a pretty blue. There we go. You see how I'm working from the middle out, and I'm getting that nice and full. So when you grab the kit to this, matter of fact, if you do need the link, just ask in the comments if you're having any trouble finding it here on the post. And we're going to provide everything you need except for the moss and the foam. We're going to use a little moss at the end to kind of fill in any of that foam that you can still see. But you will need your own foam and moss. See how pretty? Look at, you see how pretty? And that's why you love this greenery, because the movement it gives it. Now let's come into the back zone here. And I'm going to put a couple pieces in the back, and I'm just making them short. And we'll just pop these in. And we also have our leaves that we had earlier that we cut off our one bloom, and we can put those here in the back. The only thing I want to do is I want to get rid of that middle stem so you cannot see it. I took it off. And these are great to just keep in the back here to fill in some space. Just make sure the front of the leaves show. Oh, that's perfect. Here's the front. Now you see our shape. That's really important. It's important to kind of show that's the movement we want going, and that's where we want your eye to be looking. Now our last element, which is a lot of fun in this design, is going to be the twigs. And our twigs also have a little bit of white bloom on it. And I picked the white out of the container to pull that white into it. We purposely avoided red on this because I didn't want it to give it a patriotic vibe. It could have a patriotic vibe, but you didn't have to be committed to that. Let's say you did, you know, a little bit of lemons, or this is a blue that's really pretty with lemons. Anything like that, if you had that in your kitchen or your sunroom, this would totally work to go with it. But it wasn't locked in with patriotic with the red. Now, if you are like, Cleve, but I want to use it for patriotic, I tell you what, just add in a little bit of red berries and you'll hit a home run with this kit, okay? You can just add them onto your order. Matter of fact, don't forget, if you spend over $100, you get free shipping. And you could just pop those in or out. And you can actually take them out after the holiday too, if you wanted to have less of the patriotic going. Now I'm going to bring this one in and just push it down right into here, because I want this to be our tall twig. And I might bring a little fishtail in front of it and just have those kind of working their way out. Ooh, that's pretty. Really, really pretty. Now let's come in between. That one twig's in. I'm going to have this one kind of go off to the left. Let me cut it a little bit shorter. And this one we're going to do the same thing. I like to take these and curl a couple of them, at least to give them a little structure. Look at that. Ooh, that's pretty. And that's going to come in over here to the left. Beautiful. Just pop that one in. Mamacita. I love that. That white flower in there is perfect. It's just pulling out the white from the container. So dainty. So soft. You know, I love that. And so these are coming all out of that midline of the design. So the L is occurring here, and these are breaking through to the right and the left. And that's real important in how I want this finished piece to look. Now I'm going to curl this one down a little where these white flowers are, because I kind of want them lower to the base. And we're going to put this right in here on the right. Just find a little spot. I got a little bit of a glue string there. I didn't take my time and pull it off beforehand. I was rushing. All right, trim this little wire off. Okay, I love it. Now take your twigs and make sure you're bossing them around. Some of them you want straight, some of them you want curled. You can decide. Look how cute. This is so sweet, so cute, very simple to make. You can see how quickly we pulled it together. And if you want to add some red berries, you can. Matter of fact, we might put some suggested red berries too on the supply list, so you could add those in if you want some. But this is just beautiful, just how it is, and ready to rock and roll, y'all. So if you can see any of your foam in there, just grab a little bit of Spanish moss and just take and make a little flat little pancake and just pop that along the edge anywhere you want to hide any mechanics. You don't need a whole ton, just a touch. All right, Bloomeritos, I can't wait to see what you make. I hope you're having fun with flowers every day. And come and join us. Come and join us in design school, because every week I'm blessing you with techniques and live videos where you are with me one-on-one, getting the attention you need to create the most beautiful pieces you can.